All right, so we're doing a lesson for Hunkleberryfine. They are playing Renekton top lane versus Garen. Renekton has an ignite, Garen has a teleport. So Renekton should have like a bit of bully advantage in lane for just more damage in an all-in, whereas Garen has that early game insurance with the teleport, lane reset, as well as the map pressure endgame. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm just going to be pointing out any tips and advice I see throughout the match. Hopefully that's all lined up properly. I hope it is. And let's get ready to start it up here. For those wondering, the ranking of the person taking the lesson, Hunkleberryfine here, is Silver 3. So anyone close to that rating can somewhat relate to this game and maybe take a little bit more out of it. Let's speed it up here. Apparently, all right, my first tip, don't AFK at the beginning of your game. I know I do it a lot on stream, which isn't the best, but if your team is invading or the enemy team is invading, or at the very least, you're going to go wait and watch an entrance to your jungle safely, of course, that's something that that can give you advantage. I can't tell you how many games I've seen that they end in the first 30 seconds mentally because someone dies in the jungle, someone blows summoners. Some type of snowballing advantage does happen. And one thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take the fog of war off and just give it to the blue team. That way I can't see anything that they didn't see and just be like, oh, why didn't you go stop Rek'Sai from doing golems? Like, because obviously you didn't know. All right. So this is the part where we stand on the tower, walk back and forth. Let's see. What are the starting items though? Let's get into that to start here. My mouse is actually going over here. I can't fully select this window, so I'm gonna have to have a little bit of trouble moving. Can't bump to the right. The item starting, Garen starting with a Doran shield. I'm not too sure about that. I'd probably start even on Garen with a cloth armor, because a lot of Renekton's damage is spell casts that do physical damage. So Doran Shield regen's nice, but the auto attack reducing portion of it not going to be exceptionally effective, whereas if someone was ranged, for example. The cloth armor started on Renekton. I don't disagree with that. Let's see, I'm not sure what the runes are. It's looking like some AD runes, though, and some armor runes. Probably just a generic top lane AD bruisery book. And the cloth 5, I do agree with the cloth 5. Garen does a hell of a lot of physical damage early. And since you're starting with the ignite, you have that extra little bit of an advantage. You don't have the teleport, so you're not going to be wanting to go back too early. The 5 health potions will give you a lot of sustain. So you can stay in lane longer and make use of that ignite, hopefully, and find an opening. So right now, Renekton has a little bit of lane advantage here. Missed the minion there to go in for that that Q. So I miss minions all the time. So I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite when I'm saying don't miss minions, but that's a lot of minions to miss right there. How many? Oh, and missing the. If you're gonna use the Fury, to be most efficient with the Q, you want to hit a champion and as many minions as possible. You'll heal for more on Renekton if you hit a champion. With your Q, but hitting a champion and minions will give you that maximum. There's a healing cap on it. You never really reach that healing cap. But there's just been an under-emphasis on hitting farm in this lane at the moment. You can kind of see in those first 2 waves, the possible number of farm that you can get is 12. We hit 4. That's 33.33, repeating forever. 33 minions. That's a pretty poor rate of minion getting. But and also the use of the potion. Should have had some potions running earlier. You have that many. Garen only has the 1 with his Doran shield, so just keeping higher amount of health. When you're low and they're low and you have potions, it doesn't matter if you have those potions. You have to wait until those potions have actually given you health. Similar to how having a gold advantage doesn't matter until you've spent it. Alright, shouldn't be standing in that. I realize being silenced and taking that tower shot, obviously unintended, but avoidable. Timing the auto attacks here. Trying to push down the wave is okay, but make sure that you're hitting the minions. And if you're going to use your Q to farm, it's nice to use the Q to get rage. You can use, if you use any ability right now, other than your first dash, your first dash won't consume rage. It's the second activation of the dash that'll consume your Fury Bar. But using any other skill will spend it if it's above 50. However, using it at 49 and under won't spend any of that. So, but the more targets you hit, the more rage you'll generate. So you can go from 49 to like into the 70s, 80s with rage, depending on how many targets you hit. But yes, the straight auto attacking down here I'm going to keep pointing that out because that's the #1 thing that I see people getting wrong, and the #1 thing that's going wrong in this scenario here. Let me see here. I need to rewind that a little bit. Let's go back. Oh, that was way too far. Oh wait, what am I doing? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What happened? Where's the rewind button? There it is. Why didn't I just press this? This is what I wanted to see. This trade right here, I'm not sure if there was a reset on the Q or on the E. Yes, he could have got a reset on the E right here. He could have got one of those. It would have been right at the end, right before it timed out. I realized there was a silence in there, but if you would have got the E to dash back out, he could have taken a little bit less damage. All of these trades in the top lane, especially in the 1v1 bruisery trades, is all about just taking advantage. Also, using your dash right now, I realize there's a ward in the river, but if someone comes from Tribush, maybe a little bit too late. Yeah, Garen pushed way too far up right there. So, Garen's also neglecting to get money from the minions. Renekton has 18 CS at this point, and I feel that they should be high 30s into 40s, depending. You're always gonna miss minions from trading. You're not gonna hit 100% of the farm in very few situations. There's gonna be personal error. That's the only thing you can really kind of a way out is personal error. You don't want to be missing minions that you could avoid on your own. If you're getting pressured for CS that you can't get because they're gonna hurt you or whatnot, yeah, that's kind of unavoidable. But I've noticed at least half of the minions that have been missed are just personal error from just misclicking with the auto attacks. So that's the #1 thing that I'm gonna get out of this game. And I see that all the way up into high platinum, even in diamond games, people are just neglecting to get farm. It's about 15 minions, give or take a few, depending on what type of minions you're getting, to be worth 1 kill. And unless you're denying your opponent that many minions, it's not worth it to be missing them just trying to get a kill or pressure them out of lane. And Renekton is out farming Garen, but I don't think that's because Garen's getting pressured. I think Garen's making these same mistakes. So get the farm. It's good though, it's good. The warding is very good. The warding is very conscious and making a good effort at doing the warding, so I like that. I definitely don't need to use the dash there. You don't want to use, if you're going in for a Q or a stun, using the second dash will shred their armor, but using an empowered stun will stun them for longer, and using the empowered Q will obviously do more damage and heal you for a little bit more. You might want to back away a little bit there, just taking some minion damage, and yeah, watch out. Watch out for the sword from the sky. Kind of just had to back away there after getting that low when Garen was 6. Another thing with the warding, while Renekton is busy in the spawn chamber, that's a good ward to have there. That was it wasn't a trinket ward, I noticed. So putting a ward there and having a ward there, it's 2 wards down at the same time, but that gives you at least until the trinket ward dies, because it'll die before that green ward does. Having the ward in the tribush and in the river means you can only be lane ganked unless you're not paying attention or their jungler is extremely fast or has some type of global, which in this case I don't think is going to be exactly the case unless Rek'Sai's already been there to tunnel in. But having the 2 wards down lets you play extremely aggressive, so you might as well take advantage of that. If you're not planning on putting 2 wards down for overall ward efficiency, put your trinket ward down first in the river. When it dies, go put your green ward down, and then when it dies, your trinket will be back up, so you can get the longest ward time out of there. Don't be saving your trinket just because it is for free, and once you do it, you want that cooldown to be generating itself up. Your total ward uptime will be a lot better. Alright, we're farming. We're getting minions, that's good. Once minion waves build up here, I would just hit a Q right here. Yeah, I missed a minion there. I just hit a Q and attack the one that was highest health, and then you'd kill them all at once and be able to push it in. Having your rage built up is nice. Also, he's hitting Garen when Garen has the shield on that makes him take reduced damage. If that's your only option, yeah, that's free damage, but I think you could have hit Garen without the shield on. Alright, that's going to be a dash in. Dash on that. Alright, that's a kill. Optimally, you didn't have to ignite there. You could have turned on your ult before all of that was happening and used the magic damage on the side of the ult to get that kill and saved your ignite. Your ult has a shorter cooldown. than the ignite, and then the next time you fight, if you have your ult and ignite up, that gives you a big advantage. But regardless, got the kill there. He can see Rek'Sai is on the bottom lane because I can see that Rek'Sai is on the bottom lane. I've turned on the Fog of War to only give the blue team, so only things that he can see. So he's able to get a uh-oh. Excuse me. Able to get a little bit of farm there. Extra, knowing that he was safe from the jungler. But Garen does have that teleport, so Garen's making good use out of that to not fall too far behind. That noise is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Alright, so got the time int. I agree with that buy. What's the gold left over? Alright, that is a little bit less than usable. So the time int and the boots. The boots will let you run out of the Garen spin, which is good, because you're not always going to be able to dash out simply because you might be silenced. Okay. Renekton has just a wonderful walk. Just like a cute puppy, the tail wagging. It's not just the tail wagging, it's like the entire back end being put into it. Alright, so the time it wasn't used there. It was used at the end. There's a couple ways to use the time in on Renekton. I explain when I'm streaming. Is you can either use it before a Q, so hit your time in, and as soon as that's going off, be mashing your Q. They go off at the same time, and they just overlap their animations. Your stun also stuns you technically, because you have to do the animation, and you can't do any actions during that animation. The empowered stun does a longer animation, stuns them, but stuns yourself for longer as well. So he missed a few minions there to trade onto Garen. That was a good trade though. Garen got really low from it. So missing one minion for that trade I think is overly worth it, because it'll end up pushing Garen out of lane, hopefully, theoretically. Need to focus on getting your health back up though. And when you're seeing the minion there and your rage is about to start deteriorating, you want to make sure that you hit the minion to stop the rage from deteriorating. But the other use of the time, and as I was saying, the stun kind of locks you out. Oh, that was close. And it didn't have to be that close. Remember how I was saying you could have saved the ignite earlier? Optimally, you could have ignited and walked away there. That could have just been a trade. Oh god, that noise. I feel like the sound is just not equalized very well. But for the third time here, I keep cutting myself off, so rude. The timing can be used, like I said, before the Q or after stunning. As soon as you start that stun animation, mash your time in. It'll cancel the stun animation to do the time it one, which is just a short tick, and then you'll be able to control your character again. However, the opponent will be stunned for the duration of the stun. So you're kind of unstunning yourself while doing a little bit of extra damage, because the time it's of course going to do damage, and then you can start doing stuff. You can start walking either in front of them. You can perform an auto attack, another spell, a summoner, walking away. You can basically just do anything you can in League of Legends if you weren't animation stunning yourself. Okay. So Renekton has quite a lot of sustain. Garen, personally, I think that this lane would be pretty hard for Renekton to win, regardless of the fact that he's a little bit ahead in kills. He's 3 kills to Garen's 1. The farm is relatively the same. Garen's actually out-farming Renekton because Renekton, no matter how much he's denying him, how much damage he's putting onto him, even killing him, the teleport's keeping Garen in the game, and the fact that Renekton has missed so much farm is really going to come back and bite him. At 13 minutes here, optimally you have around 130 CS. Top lane, very rarely the case because it's just a bruiser fight. Everyone's hitting everyone. But for how much dominance Renekton has had in this lane, ooh, a little too far, overshot that one. How much dominance Renekton has had in this lane, I think you should be over 100. And I've seen enough farm go to nothing, not even being denied, not even going into harass, just failing at hitting the minions, that could have easily had that extra 30 CS at this point. And it gets even more tricky right now. Dash back to the minions, walk to try. Dash back to the minions, walk to try. Oh yeah, it is ignite. They traded. So that's all right. And the reason I say all right, Rek'Sai got the kill, so it doesn't make Garen any stronger. But Rek'Sai's a lot stronger. That's going to pressure all your other lanes. It was a shutdown kill plus assist for a kill onto Garen, who's already feeding. So not the greatest. Renekton is now 420 though, so maybe he'll make something out of that. Probably could have double dashed to the tri-bush and maybe tried to escape. Didn't have a flash. It would have been kind of risky, but I think he might have been able to. Garen probably wouldn't have been able to follow him at that point unless he flashed after him. Then he would have killed Garen regardless, but got the flash as well. And if Garen didn't follow, maybe be able to v1 Rek'Sai. I'm not too sure. What does Rek'Sai have? Actually, Rek's pretty strong. Maybe not. Maybe not. It really depends. I can't say for sure how that would have went. But another thing I'm noticing is the over-aggression in some of these trades is, regardless of any minions missed, you're just taking it a step too far. Like the double dashes into the turrets. Once is okay. Doing it a couple times starts to wreck it for you, where you're just taking an extra turret shot, where you came away from that trade good until you just took free damage, and now the trade was evened out. And it's nothing they did right, just something that you made a boo-boo on. I'll take this time to say a disclaimer. Lots of this stuff I do on my stream as well. I mess up. And it happens to everyone. I'm not saying that all of this needs to be done, or even I'd be doing all of this right in every situation. I'm just saying that I'm looking at things I'm seeing, and the most optimal things are what I'm going for. So Renekton got the kill there. I'm going to rewind that a little bit. Just mechanically how that could have went different. Alright, let's slow it down here. Pretty awesome in slow-mo. He dashed this way on an angle to here. It was good that he used the turret for a double dash. That's smart. That's awesome. Rather than going on this angle, go there. If Heimer's going to try and get away, he's going to flash at the tower. Also, that's closer to this dude who is going to kill and ends up killing him. If he would have dashed up, he would have been on this side of Heimer, done that, killed Heimer, and then he would have been right here, walking to right here. And it just looks like he kind of didn't realize that Rek'Sai was even coming back for him, which might be the case. He should have, because he had the vision on him with those minions there. Took that big last turret shot there, but could have been walking up to here to optimally not even had to die in that situation, yet still pick up the Heimer kill. So just a thing to make the most of the situation. That's less of like a game knowledge thing and more of a mechanical knowledge on the character and just making the most use out of things. It'll come with time, but getting it pointed out will make that time shorter. Alright, we don't care what's happening to everyone else. Speed this up. Renekton in the spawn chamber. There he is. Man of the hour. Let's go. Okay. Also, I was saying that Renekton was warding so well all game, and he was. A couple things that could have made the warding more efficient, but for the most part, especially in silver, not to down talk anyone, the warding I was seeing top lane was better than average, so I was happy with that. The one time he did die to a gank, he didn't have it warded, so all it takes is one slip up at the wrong time to make all of that warding perfect that you did perfectly, yet didn't get ganked. All for naught, or feel all for naught. He had the ward up time was like 90%. That 10% that was downtime was the only time he ended up getting ganked, so no time to sleep on the ward game. All right, we're on the hunt here. Less than optimal that didn't go through. I don't think it would have made a difference. He still would have had the flash. The blow everything clause has been enacted. That guy's dead. Nunu, poor diet of mechanical. Don't eat non-organic things, Nunu. It's probably not a good play. Needless to say, the turret's dead. No one died. They blew a lot of stuff there. For nothing. Theoretic. Oh my god. Nerf that champion. Not all for naught. It was a kill for no objective, but it was a kill nonetheless. Renekton's going top to farm this farm. Hopefully their teammate backs off, or his teammates back off. Because this is worth it to go up here and farm. That's a lot of farm. Alright, could have got both of those. There's one minion that he missed. He got that one. Okay, he only missed one. Could have been worse. But with the whole farming thing, RIP team. I would have done the same thing here. I would have told them to back off and went up to farm top, because if the enemy team didn't aggress or your team played it even remotely better, there wouldn't have been this issue, and you ended up getting an extra 2.5, 3 waves of farm. So that's totally worth it. The cleanup actually went pretty well there as well. This is risky. This is, if he was going to go for that, pop the ult earlier. It lasts for a long time. It'll be constantly gaining you rage. Sometimes I'll ult even before a fight starts just to get my rage up, so I'll be able to use it in a fight. I don't want to go to 100 because then it's not generating anything. Obviously, that's less efficient. But generating the rage for the fight is effective, as well as the damage over time that it does should not be ignored. This Garen in lane, I'm not sure what that Stinger's all about. Looks like he's going for a Zephyr, but Garen rushed a Warmogs. I get it. That's fun with the Garen passive. Fantastic. But if Garen built a Sunfire, Renekton would be in a lot worse condition. I agree with that armor buy that he got, and I agree that he's probably going for a Sunfire. I don't agree with building those Merc Treads that early. The extra magic resistance would be nice for the Garen ult, but for the most part he's been taking physical damage. The Merc Treads just aren't necessarily needed at this point. The Sona ult is annoying. The Rek'Sai knockup is not reduced by tenacity. The silence is annoying, so I guess it'll reduce the silence on that, and if Heimer gets a stun off. The Merc Treads I don't think were necessary yet at this point, other than for mobility. Building the Tymant first, I agree with that. However, against a Garen, the way that Garen beats you in lane is just getting so tanky that he's able to just do what he's doing basically right now. I don't care that you're hitting me because I have so much armor and defense that eventually, even though you're doing more damage, I have more defense, so I'm going to win this trade. And then you get to that point where Renekton's just too low to do anything because Garen has that ult. If Renekton went for a Tymant and then started building a Sunfire, then you can get the stand on them to death, as I call it, where it's just a damage timer. You might not be able to do that much damage with your skills. You might not have the cooldowns, whatnot, this and that. It's still going to be damaging him consistently. Had Garen have built what I would consider have been properly and just rushed that Sunfire for extra damage, it's really effective on him. The magic damage that the Sunfire would be putting out would be doing like magic damage. Garen building armor, he would be taking a lot of damage from that, but less damage from Renekton's abilities. With the Sunfire and Renekton's ult going, he's doing a lot of magic damage per second. It's a deceptive amount of magic damage. And you still have to watch out for his physical spells because they chunk still. Alright, Malzahar neglecting to put down the Void Pool. Doesn't matter. That dude's dead. So that's good. That was a nice roam. It's fine. His armor. Dance party. Yeah, they needed to back out. This is a part of the game where I would be like, alright, if they die, they're dead. I can't do anything. I don't want to die. So Renekton's running away. Malzahar opting in for the death. Close your eyes, look away. Your teammate's dead. Your friends are dead. It's okay. As long as you're alive, you can tell their story. Okay, so that was smart to not go in. Malzahar might have been able to get away, might not have been able to get away. I think he was just trying to turn it though and see what he could get out of it. Could have made that a little more efficiently. Heimer didn't look like he was paying attention. Auto attack, reset the auto attack with a stun, reset the stun with a time, and hit him with the Q, and then make sure to dash through him and then away. You would have been able to clear the distance and do a lot of damage. Heimer would have been around half if he did that combo, so it would have been a lot easier to kill him here. That flash hopefully gets away. That was a nice smoke screen. If you're dashing and you're at all able to, if you have to go like a step out of your way to hit someone, Renekton's dash... It's going to give me nightmares and a headache. Renekton's dash goes out to about his tail. So say there's like a Garen right here, a minion right here, a Heimer right here, a turret right here. See that crack right there? We'll use that crack as an example. That'll do damage. Even though you're dashing forward, it'll do damage a little bit behind you. You can use that to like step it just so your back's right behind him and then double dash away. As long as it registers doing damage, the important parts of that is it's not going to one-hit someone. We're not talking about, yeah, you got to get that damage just for your efficient DPS. No, you just got to get that damage on there so it registers as hitting so that you can get that extra hit for the double dash, because that's going to clear a lot of extra distance. And if you clear with one dash, you got to think about this. What if, optimally, while there's nothing happening, I'm dashing from here. I dash to there.
Godlike.
All right, that's a little bit of distance. If I get a double dash from here, I dash to there. I dash through the wall. And let's take it a step further. I'm dashing from here. I get the dash. I dash over the wall. Had I got the double dash, I dash over this wall. There's still time. You have like the 4 seconds, I think it is. walk over to here, dash over this wall, walk over to here, dash over this wall. If you can do a double wall dash, it's a lot more effective. All right, there's a fight that broke out. All right, let's go back. I need to see what happened. I was on a tangent. Okay, Renekton's coming in. All right, they're pushing the tower. Would have been optimal to hit the Q. That's an obvious pointer though. Even to not hit them, just hit the minions that are hitting the tower. Yeah, a little too overzealous right there. The positioning in the team fight. Malzahar was dead already, so it's a 4v5 as it is. At this point, you're not going to try and kill them. If you kill them, that's fantastic. That's bonus. She didn't even get tagged. You're losing the tower right here because you tried too hard to force something more than necessary. Defending on the tower, especially with this new slowing tower, damage reducing tower, that would have been enough to defend the tower and even defend a lot of damage off the tower. They wouldn't have been able to do that much with it. Pushing off the tower without numbers against a team that's ahead of you, that's what I'm going to just continue to call, like I said earlier, just a pointless kill, a pointless fight. You're not fighting for anything. You've already defended the objective that you wanted, and you're not at an advantage in it. If you're going to push off and get the kill, yes, that's bonus money. That's going to help you in the long run. But if you're pushing off and you're at a disadvantage in the fight, and it's a fight that you don't necessarily need to fight, might as well not even fight it. All right, Rek'Sai went tunnel vision here. So that's good. See, like that's what I mean there. That's a fight that you have an advantage in. You don't necessarily need to go for that kill, but why not, right? Why not get that kill? The main objective right here was to defend the tower. Didn't get to defend the tower because everyone went and died. And then also gave kills as well as the tower. So it just went way worse than it had to. Okay, so Garen's pushing into the base. That's not really Renekton's fault. Garen teleported to a ward there, and I don't think that's going to go anywhere. That was a bit ambitious of Garen, in my opinion. Let's see. Renekton needs to heal right here, for one. He's not going to do much with that much health. It's really, really dangerous. It's good that that zone ult was avoided. That's really good. Oh no, not again. That might be a kill there. That was a kill. We're not doing a Malzahar lesson though. Renekton needs to heal. How much money is he sitting on? 1,500. Merc Treads right here. Buy Merc Treads. Buy Merc Treads, finish your Sunfire. Okay, he finished the Sunfire. A lot of pings going down on that. So the Sunfire is good. I would still buy the Merc Treads here. You're playing out of your base. Merc Treads, when you're behind, and even when you're trying to push to their base, they just save a lot of time. A second here, a second there can make all the difference. And when you're going to be using them a lot in your base, I would definitely buy them. It lets you rush out to defend the base faster. It lets you heal faster. Possibly with the Merc Treads, I'm not saying it would have been able to, but maybe would have been able to get there, clear that minion wave with all of your AoE and save that tower. Maybe, maybe not. Thresh is having some refracting problems with his lantern. But yes, the Merc Treads would have been of high value. He has his Sunfire now though. So there's a couple options of build paths from here. Can either go for, against their team, they have a lot of physical, a little bit of magic, but a lot of physical. You could build maybe a little bit of magic resistance. It's good, it's good. We'll talk about this fight, we'll talk about that later. Renekton's going in. Just keep chasing Caitlyn. Yeah, that's the right play. Yeah, Caitlyn's out of the fight. Don't have to chase her anymore. She was dead from that ignite, but that's fine. Caitlyn's dead. Sona's dead. Yeah, it's just kind of breaking into a skirmish. But the main target was Caitlyn. Garen is a nuisance, but your team should be able to handle him off, kite him around, hopefully. Even if he doesn't die, the main target was Caitlyn. Looking at the death timers here. Maybe he can go for Baron. I think it's risky though. They're gonna all be up pretty soon. Rek'Sai has his ultimate, and there's a tunnel right there. That tunnel needs to be broken at the very least. So that's good. Renekton found the tunnel. Good on you for that. Okay. Yeah, the Baron knocks you off if he's trying to dash through it now. It's kind of funny. Garen's going for the inhibitor. Oh, terrible, terrible noise. I'm not sure where Rek'Sai went. We're going to keep it a mystery, but just like they had. Alright, Rek'Sai wasn't there. Yeah, it's too risky to go for this Baron without without it having Graves at the very least. Graves was in the base, so I don't really agree with that Baron call. That's usually the jungler who's calling that out, though. So I've definitely followed up on Baron calls that I didn't agree with, just because you gotta play for the team at a certain point as well. Probably get away here. Oh, maybe not. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think Renekton could have saved there, just knowing your skills, knowing what you could have done there. Okay, so right here. Don't need to dash right there at that point. This is what I would have done. I would have waited right by that minion wave to save the double dash, turn around, stun him, time it to end my stun early. Could have hit the minions once or twice, because you notice the rage bar is just below 50. Hit the minions once or twice. Your tank minion will still be alive. You're not going to do that much damage with just a Hydra at this point. It'll give you the Fury to do a longer stun him, and then double dash away, and I think Thresh could have lived from that. But that's just more of a mastery of the champion. I'm not sure the overall amount of games put into Renekton by Hunkleberry here. So, just like I said, just another thing I'm pointing out that I'm seeing. They might be going for Baron here. We had that ward there. One thing, Renekton's trinket's up. Don't know if it was up at Baron, but if someone's trinket was up before they were getting chased away, you can kind of assume that they're going to be going for this. Drop a ward. Very well might not be able to get there in time. It looks like the Baron would have been dead anyway. No one has a teleport to get there. They had to heal anyway. But drop a ward so at least you know what's happening. And at the very least, they can kind of estimate. Very rarely in solo queue will someone remember to estimate the Baron time. Hopefully someone did. But it's far more effective rather than having an estimate, just to see it go down on a ward, because then you have it tracked at the top of your screen on your scoreboard. Yeah, I'm remembering to kill those tunnels. The 5 gold's nice, but it's more about depleting their map control. Okay, so farming right here, sort of dangerous. I'm assuming he's talking to their team right there. These random pauses, can't really see for sure. Really risky here, really risky. Really risky. Garen's bot. Okay, we see Garen and Heimer bot Rek'Sai mid. Now it's less scary. Now it's push it up here. Might be able to get a free tower. Doesn't have a teleport though. Let's see. Hopefully he gets that tower. He needs to try and peel off of this. Doesn't necessarily need to fight this. That ultimate's nice. Backed off Garen. Didn't get a kill and didn't really get anything from backing Garen off. The next play in the game is going to be to defend this inhibitor from the team that's pushing in. Garen's top lane has a teleport. Actually, no, sorry, he doesn't. He just teleported in. What am I thinking? But now Renekton's back here. It was a 4v4 in the base. Renekton's mainly their frontliner, and there's some people on the team not doing nearly as well as him, namely his bot lane. So getting that turret up top was nice, but getting stopped by Garen from coming back to the base resulted in that bottom inhib going down, which is kind of rough. He can't have stopped his team from fighting this here. Like, this is just unnecessary. If he can save them, that's awesome. Looks like he might actually get Caitlyn, which is surprising. That's nice. Wonderful. But yeah, blowing the ult for Garen, had this fight have gone slightly differently, not having the ult up for the fight that was going to ensue just to brawl with Garen, not overly necessary. Garen wouldn't have been able to kill him through the ultimate, or kill you through the ultimate, sorry. But having the ult there would have made a difference. Just thinking about what the next play in the game is going to be, and that's a lot of the times, like, I don't think about it in games. I might have used that ult to try and fight Garen, thinking if I had an advantage there to kill him, that it would have been good if he killed him. But hindsight and spectating mode being 2020. Just make sure to have your abilities up, especially in these these ending moments where you're going to need everything. There's 2 inhibs down now. Now they're on their last legs. However, if they're able to defend from this, this is free farm beating into their base. The enemy team's not getting minions from these 2 waves anymore because their minions are simply walking down, slaughtering those minions in cold blood. And the blue team is now getting a ton of farm. The thing about the farming advantage that they're getting is if the enemy team just pressures properly, it's going to be a hard time. Alright. Let's see. Renekton and Garen both sitting at 168 farm, so they're neck and neck. Renekton has been farming by himself for a lot of this game, and I haven't been paying much attention. I stressed it a lot early. I'll continue to stress it. That farm number is very low and avoidable. It wasn't much of a pressuring lane. Renekton was doing most of the pressuring in lane, mind you, but that farm number could be a lot higher. And the difference between 10 CS here and there might not matter much, like being 10 CS higher at 30 minutes, which it could have been a lot higher than 10, but we'll use 10 as an example. Not the most, but what if that 10 CS is the difference between you finishing a tier 3, tier 4 item and being 100 gold off of finishing that item as the enemy team is pressuring your nexuses? When you get to those item breakpoints and being a little bit off of them, it really makes you think, man, I wish I could have just got a little bit more farm at some point in this game. Not necessarily in the past couple minutes, but maybe 20 minutes ago, if I wouldn't have missed those couple minions, I would be able to buy this item right now. And you're never going to know that you're going to need that item later, so it's best to just always be trying to get that farm. It's the best consistent money. At this point, this is just Starship Troopers. You're just trying to defend the base. It's hard to play from behind here. Killing those tunnels is smart, but it's not necessary. A little bit of tunnel vision on the tunnels, I guess. Might have been able to save those that tower from those super minions. There was a couple super minions beating on the tower. Could have stunned one, maybe AoE killed them both at the same time. Keeping that tower up is very important, because then if the team doesn't make a push in the next couple minutes, that tower is going to regenerate hopefully, and then you're going to have something. The Nexus is still intact, that's good. Having the tower would have been more optimal. Now at this point, if there's a fight that breaks out and people don't notice or they're not able to get back in time, that's very easy for someone on the enemy team to just stroll on in the base and kill. It's going to be, it's always going to be there. It looks like Rek'Sai is thinking about it. That thing is huge. Banshee's Veil wasn't the worst buy in this game. I think I would have went for a Hex Drinker though. Especially on Renekton, he does end up getting low, and he makes a lot of use out of the Maw's additional AD passive once it's upgraded. I do like the Hex Drinker. And just having that more damage pressure while being tanky is nice. And a Hex Drinker is very good against Garen. Once he gets you low, he tries to ult you, the ult gets eaten by the Hex Drinker. It makes almost 100% use out of that Hex Drinker shield. But see, Garen wouldn't be able to do this if they didn't lose that tower, so really rough that that's dead. This Thresh is on par with his hooks. But yeah, Renekton's just taking faces right now. Another problem with the tower being down in their base, one wave of super minions would get eaten by a tower, as long as that tower wasn't too low. Two waves, like two super minions giving themselves the aura to each other, can be an issue for a tower. But generally, a tower can eat one super minion. However, if there's no tower to eat that super minion, you're always at the risk of losing your Nexus just to minions alone. However, they are defending well. It looks like they might stabilize out, have both their inhibs up here pretty soon, and this is a lot of farm extra that they're getting on the enemy team. Remember how I called out the farm about 5 minutes ago? Garen had 168. Well, he's gotten one minion in 5 minutes. Renekton's gotten about 30, because he's just been constantly having to farm these minions with no choice, just to keep them out of the base. So, starting to get a farm advantage there. And that's another thing that I see in a lot of games. Sometimes people farm very well in lane, and as the game goes on, they stop looking for opportunities to grab farm. Farming's not going to be as important as showing up to a team fight. You getting a little bit of extra money doesn't offset your team all getting behind and the enemy team getting 4 kills because you weren't there. However, if there's no team fight breaking out, or it's just like a lull in the action, if you can go and farm a wave top or wherever you're going to farm it, that's an extra 10 CS for you that you paid nothing for, basically. And if you end up pushing that wave up to a tower, that tower is going to take a little bit of damage from the minions, which might help you in the long run. And that if no one comes to farm that, that's farm that you've denied the enemy team successfully. So everything has a purpose, both against the enemy and to progress your own game. So this is kind of like the awkward moment where no one really knows what to do. What needs to be done is, once that Randuin's is built, we need to have some wards in the inventory of Renekton here. A sweeping trinket might have been helpful. It's not going to be overly helpful right now. I wouldn't upgrade the yellow trinket at this point. I would save it to buy a sweeping trinket later, or a different trinket if necessary. Spoiler alert, the game ends in 20 seconds apparently. So I don't know what happens. It looks like that might almost be a surrender. Alright, yeah, they lost both. There's a lot of indecision right now. Just kind of walking back and forth rather than if you defend mid, you're gonna lose bot. If you defend bot, you're gonna lose mid. If you defend nothing, you're gonna lose them both. So this is the time for decisive action. And I'm not saying that would have made the difference, one person making the decisions, but it's always a lot better to try and do something and hope that it works. But it was just kind of a losing battle at the end here. It looks like it was really close though. It was really close, this fight. It ended up being really close, and then it would have gone back into defending the minions. However, at this point, it was against Baron with 3 inhibitors down. Now 2 super minions are spawning in every wave every 30 seconds. So that's 6 super minions every 30 seconds you're going to have to deal with. And if they end up pushing up with that Baron buff, it's going to be rough. The biggest thing to take away from that game, though, I think, is the warding was pretty good. But make sure to keep that warding consistent, because the one time you didn't ward, ouch. The farming is the #1 thing, and I think everyone saw that coming. The farming really needs to be improved upon, and it's not farming under pressure in this scenario. It was just farming. It was just getting those minions. There was just some that were just carelessly missed and carelessly auto attacked down, and that's not supposed to be like a shot or anything at you. I do it the same thing in my own games. I miss minions with 0 pressure, and I call myself out on it and tell myself, what am I doing? So there's that. Getting farm, a secondary on the farm thing, just getting farm, finding places to farm throughout the game. Consider taking a teleport as well. It might not give you the biggest lane advantage, but it'll let you help your team out later. A lot of the time, if you're consistently finding that you win your lane, but your team is doing bad in a lot of scenarios, you can always help them out with that teleport. If you're confident enough and you're doing well in your lane, to try taking it a step further, do well in your lane without an ignite or using your teleport to help you in lane, and then use that teleport to help out your team if at all available. The build worked against that Garen because he was rushing a Warmogs. If he rushed a Sunfire, you might have had to follow suit and rush a Sunfire. And then in that lane, it comes down to you can't kill him, he can't kill you really. Just farm. And then to do that, you're going to have to be hitting most of the farm. Because Garen was also making the same mistakes and not farming. But yeah, other than that, those are like the 2 things that stood out the very most to me. And some of those trades, getting a little overzealous, tanking an extra turret shot. Not even just like kind of misestimating on the side of the turret, just going completely ham and dashing into the turret afterwards just to get that extra dash damage onto him. But taking, say that dash damage did 80 damage to him, but the turret did like 150 damage to you. It's not an even trade in the end. But other than that, just those couple points, and yeah, I think that'll really help.